Hello, Mr. Ford.
Hello. I thought you'd gone on home, probably.
I'm just leaving now.
Well, do you need a ride or anything?
I don't think that would be possible. But thank you for your kindness.
All right.
You're a real gentleman, Mr. Ford.
Right.
I am hungry, though. I didn't have any lunch. A real generous employer might buy me a sandwich. But as if I'm not doing anything later. Not busy.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Good night. My mother won't let me go to the flickers. You know, she says nice girls don't see moving pictures. Sometimes I sneak in with my best friend Rosalie. You know, someday I'd like to wear makeup, even though I know it's sinful. And something else. Someday I'd like to smoke a cigarette.
What else would you like?
What I want is to be, excuse me, talking with my mouth full, what I want is to be head of the stenographic department.
No, I meant in the whole world. What would you like?
That's not enough? Do you know what the head of the stenographic department earns? Oh, of course you do.
Well, you're joking, but I'm quite serious.
What I want is to make a difference in this world. Like a doctor or a good politician, that would be so grand. But since I can't, I want to be a good stenographer. Working for a great man like you, who can change the world.
Do you think I can do that?
Of course you can. Look at all the people. They're out there, they're riding in your cars, and they're going places and seeing things they'd never see otherwise.
Well, that's not of my doing. No, I mean, today. That's because of something in my other life, maybe.
Well, if you say so, I believe it.
Do. What could I give you for believing? Whatever you would like.
Those sausages, because if you're not going to eat them, they are my absolute favorites.
You know, this is only the second time that I've ever ridden in a Model T. Isn't that funny? I make them 6 days a week, and I don't
Who rode you before?
That's my boarding house right there.
Well, thank you kindly for the supper and for the ride.
You didn't answer my question. Who rode you before?
Fellow I know.
Bo?
No. No, indeed. I'm going to fall in love with a hero. That's who I'm waiting for, Mr. Ford. Good night.
Last fiscal year, 1911-1912, production was 78,440 Model Ts. This year, production is double.
Oh, why does our look?
Because the workforce is double, too, and we still can't meet the demand. We've got to make some changes, Mr. Ford.
Now, let me just show you something here, cousin. I happen to have some letters here. Let me read you one of them. Just to show you, I do open my mail. This one's from a Mrs. Cynthia McDougal, Peoria, Illinois. Says, just a line to tell you how your magnificent automobile has changed our lives.
But that's not what I'm talking about. Now, it takes 12.5 man-hours per unit to build one of these cars.
Says, your car has lifted us out of the mud and brought joy into our lives.
The point is, we can't hire enough men at that rate to build all these cars. Not at the price you want to charge. That's the point.
No, the point, Mr. Pencil Pusher, is, like the lady says, the car is a magnificent automobile. Right, Dan?
Mr. Cousins, with all due respect, Henry ordered me with the strictest orders to bring you away from whatever you were doing. Take a look at this.
All right, where's my running board, man? Bring in the running board. Put it right over the holes. That's it. Don't bother anything else. You go back to the next car. Now, my bolt man. Where's my bolt man? Put it right in the bolt holes. Don't bother to tighten them. Don't bother. Where's the man that's going to tighten them? You come in there. Now, next, you go back to the next car, bolt man. Cousin, how do you like that, huh? How about them figures? 6.5 hours per chassis, and we just started.
Henry, it's brilliant.
Brilliant? Hell, it's just common sense, cousin. Just common sense.
Excuse me, man. Excuse me. This is pretty important. Mr. Cousins is sorry he couldn't be here, but he asked me to be sure and tell you that we're down to 90 minutes per car. And thank you.
to Michigan.
What do you want to go to Michigan for? What are you going to learn there?
Want to take engineering?
Yeah, you don't need to go to no college. The college you need is right here in this plant. Besides, I want you here by my side. One of these days, it's all going to be yours, son. All yours. Every bit of it.
Hey! Mark! Frank! Charlie! Break those it up! Devin, break those! Get over there! Break it up! Break!
It's all right. Come on in. Come on. Come on. Oh, boy. Wait. It's all right, sonny. It's okay. It's all blood. It's all okay. Some blood. Come on. You all right? Yeah. Yes, sir. Somebody get Two men on the brink of exhaustion, clawing at each other, trying to kill each other.
Well, it's almost Christmas. We'll close the line for 2 weeks.
Well, what then? What are they going to do for 2 weeks? They live week to week, paycheck to paycheck, Saturday to Saturday. What are they going to do?
It's not really our concern.
Our concern? We're making millions of dollars, damn it. What about the social justice?
We buy them cheaply, and when they wear out, we replace them.
Machines! Damn it all, you're talking machines, Jim. I'm talking human beings. I'm talking men. No, sir. By God, we got to pay them a decent wage.
Mr. Ford, I think we pay them very generously. 10-hour shift, $2.50 a day.
It's not a fair wage. No, sir. No, sir. We got to give them more.
Here comes Mr. Ford.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Good to see you again, sir.
How's it feel
Hey, Harry.
making half the automobiles in the country?
Hey, the two you sent the Kaiser cable saying no more war in Europe.
Well, I tell you, I got a better story than that for you. I got a story. If you just hold on a minute. You boys, I think all recognize I've been pretty successful in this business. Well, sir, I couldn't have done it without the day-to-day help of my fellow workers.
What about a union? Let them form a union?
After they hear the news I'm going to give you, they're not going to want to hear the word union. As of tomorrow, every Ford worker is going to get $5 a day.
Did you say $5 a day?
You heard it here. Furthermore, there'll be no more 10-hour days. As of tomorrow, 8 hours a day. Nobody has to work more than 8 hours a day. That's right. Ford is humanizing the
Nomination for sainthood is premature. In 3 shifts now, Ford's running around the clock. That dazzling generosity is going to make a lot of money for the company. It's been like this since 3 a.m. Unbelievable.
We had 4,000 new jobs.
10,000 applicants. More arriving on every train. Most without the fare to get home.
All I wanted to do was help.
There's no more jobs, so I'm going to have to take the sign down. Attention! Your attention, quiet, please. There are no more jobs. You'll have to disperse and go home. There's no more jobs.
Just like children, need to be protected from themselves. Moving from the death, moves after the death of one body.
Excuse me, sir.
Inhabits another. Inhabits another. What is it? What is it, Worth?
You'll see, sir.
What? Good God Almighty.
What is it, Henry?
Somebody shot an archduke. say it means war in Europe.
Oh, Lord, no.
War is a crime against humanity, and no one should be involved. As for myself, I'd burn this plant right down to the ground before I'd do one lick of work for the war effort. And you can quote me on that, boys.
Who would you say is behind this war?
Who's behind it? Wall Street's behind it. Wall Street, the moneylenders, warmongers, munition makers. Wall Street makes money over the graves of the common folk.
Well, sir, President Wilson has been actively seeking peace.
Mr. Patterson, Mr. Wilson has been talking peace for over a year now. The only trouble is nobody will listen to him. I think it's time that we put our hopes somewhere else.
What do you suggest, Mr. Ford?
Well, I don't know if you heard the story about the old boy who wanted to be buried in his Model T. Said it always got him out of any hole he was ever in. Now, I'm not saying the Model T is going to get us out of any hole called war, but, well, maybe it's time we think of something a little grander.
And what might that something grander be?
Human imagination.
Imagination. Isn't that a somewhat irresponsible approach to something as serious as peace?
Now, ma'am, irresponsible is a very interesting word. That's a word that's been thrown at me for years. Every time I wanted to lower the price of any of my cars, they called it irresponsible. Hell, ended up selling more cars and making more money.
Might we now hear your proposal for stopping this war?
Yes, ma'am, I think it's time that some of our world leaders come forward and speak on behalf of the people against this damn war. And if they're not able to, or they're not willing to, by George, I'll do it myself.
How do you plan to do that, Mr. Ford?
Hell, I chartered a ship. I call it the Peace Ship. And I'm going to go over there and talk to those fellas. And you're all welcome to come with me. And if they'll listen to me, by George, I promise you, this war will be over before Christmas. Now, if you excuse me, I'll get back to work. Thanks a lot for coming, folks. I appreciate it.
Well, we got another one for page one, don't we? Good one. Good copy. Good hard copy.
What do you think of that?
Curiouser and curiouser.
They are not laughing at you, Henry Ford. I've read the papers, too.
Yeah, well, they're calling me God's fool.
What about the ones praising you for trying? The hero of a small man standing against the world for his principles?
Yeah. Clara, it's not that I want anything that money can buy. I don't care about any material thing. All I want is an end to this damn war, and I want peace in the world, and I'd like to leave the world a little bit better off for my having been here, that's all.
You have. Look how successful you've been.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't know it by the newspapers. All they do is ridicule me all the time. And you know who they are.
No.
Well, you do. The same people I've been fighting all this time. Wall Street brokers, those fat cats, rich bankers, munition makers. You know who they all are?
No.
They're Jews, most of them.
Henry!
Well, they are, most of them.
I won't listen
well,
to
I'm
that
sorry,
talk.
they are,
That's
Clara.
not right.
Well, I'm sorry. They are. And it's a damn conspiracy, too. And it's all there in that Protocols of the Elders of Zion thing. It's all there. It's a conspiracy. Well, if they think I have lived all my lives to get to where I am, to be brought down by a bunch of tricksters, they're wrong. Wrong! Steffi and Heather, give them my best, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Well, Evangeline,
Mr. Ford?
get in.
It was you. Making me head of the stenographic department. You were gone. But I know it was your doing.
Oh, I might have a certain influence, I expect. Evangeline, I'm old enough to be your pa.
No. You're young enough to be my hero.
You may clear Mr. Ford's place, and we will begin. Your father working so hard and so long. Really, Etzel, I thought once you started at the plant, he'd take it a little easier.
That's funny. The harder I work, the harder he works, too.
I believe I'll have a glass of wine. If your father's not going to be with us, I deserve a little share. You'll join me for a glass, won't you, dear?
I will, please. You know, the real problem with the plant is that we have no organization. Nobody's job is clearly defined. Everyone's competing. Dad can be so arbitrary, the way he just changes.
Etzel, I will hear no criticism of your father. Not even from you. Well, especially not from you.
Do you know how he behaves at the plant? How he humiliates me in front of...
Surely you know how much he loves you.
Maybe I wish he'd love me less and respect me more.
You're looking sour. What'd you do? Eat a lemon?
I didn't eat the lemon, Mr. Ford. The lemon is on the front page of the Ford Times.
Oh, you're talking about my editorial to my dealers. Well, I just wanted to express a few thoughts I had.
It's a virulent tirade.
I thought it was pretty reasonable. Why don't you refresh my memory on that virulent part?
You know very well what I'm talking about. An Allied War Commission composed of distinguished members of the government, many of them nobles and peers.
Yeah, and you know how much I say cut with me, don't you?
Visiting this country in search of loans for their Allied war effort, and you demand that on their arrival they be thrown off the dock into the Atlantic? To do what, I ask? Swim home?
Well, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I should have put that in my editorial, too.
I'm going to halt publication.
Too late. I'll reprint it.
Then I refuse to distribute it to the dealers.
That's an interesting word, refuse. I don't often hear that from my employees.
This particular employee also happens to own 11% of the stock in the Ford Motor Company.
Unfortunate calculation. You're talking to the fellow that owns 59%. Tell you what, Mr. Fellow shareholder. Why don't you come with me and we can discuss this a little further, huh? This is where you get out, cousin.
What do you mean? You're dismissing me.
Looks that way, don't it?
You can't do that. You don't have any right to do that. You need me. You may have some craftsmanship as a mechanic.
Mechanic. You always make that sound like a dirty word.
I keep this business running. If I hadn't shipped off those first cars, you'd still be tinkering away in some grimy little shed.
But it ain't a shed. It's a plant. And I own it, and I run it. The cars are mine, and that makes all the difference.
The day will come when it won't.
Mechanic.
Hi, Mr. Ford. Certainly remember you for this.
Of course you didn't wake me. I'm too excited to sleep.
Everybody at the plant is talking about what you did to Cousins.
Think we can get along without him?
What do you need him for? To try taking credit for what you do?
Yeah, well, I just thought I'd let you know. I'll see you at the plant, okay?
No.
Tell me. I'm flattered just to listen.
Well, I'll talk to you.
I am in bed.
I'm ashamed to say what I'm not wearing, but I was just about to put on my nightgown.
The one you gave me.
I'll be right over.
Good night.
Nice car, mister. Ain't you in the wrong neighborhood?
No, I ain't in the wrong neighborhood.
No, well, for a rich guy, you should be able to spare a couple of bucks. Huh?
Well, you want a buck, Sonny? Go earn yourself a buck.
Ooh, tough guy.
And he's funny, too. Hey, you're real funny, huh,
Don't
man?
shove me around.
Hey, no tickling, no tickling, no.
What you got in here?
Get him out. Let me try and get his wallet in there.
Come on. Come on.
You all right, sir? Man in your position shouldn't have to deal with scum like that.
Oh, well, fella, you're pretty handy with your dukes. What's your name?
Harry Bennett, sir. I'm Navy trained. I got 6 months left.
Well, I'll tell you what, Harry, why don't you give me a call when you get out. Huh? Might be able to help you.
Be an honor, Mr. Ford.
You see, Harry, the key to mass production is interchangeability. The ability of any part from any Ford to fit any other Ford as long as it's the same model.
Dad, the Dodge brothers are waiting to talk to you.
All right, let them wait. Oh, Edsel, this is Harry Bennett. Harry, this is Edsel, my son.
Hey, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, Harry. Dad, the Dodge brothers are asking a lot of questions about the new plant at the Rouge.
All right, let them ask it. It's a free country. Come over here.
They want answers. I mean, they are
Yeah, they're a
shareholders.
bunch of parasites. I do all the work. I make all the money. All they do is sit on their tall, skinny butts and collect dividends. That's all they do.
Oh, just talk to them. All right? Oh, there's one other problem.
Edsel, son, the trouble is you treat problems like problems instead of opportunities in disguise.
It's Ken Mills in Buffalo.
Kim Mills is a good outfit. That's a good outfit. You know, they got presses you wouldn't believe. They got presses, Harry, that'll stamp out an entire crankcase from one piece of metal. They'll stamp out 95 tube radiator with one punch. you think of that, Tiger? Hey, you used to be a boxer.
Oh, that's very nice. But they won't have the presses much longer. Ken Mills is on strike.
Oh, is that right?
Now, we may have to close the line if it goes on. Our men should be told so they get a chance to look for other work.
Tell me, Harry, what would you do in a situation like that?
Before I'd let a union push me around, beg your pardon, Mr. Ford. I'd use a little persuasion on them.
All right, go get a car. We'll talk to the Dodge brothers, okay?
Yes, sir.
Get any car you want, Harry.
Now, Dad, what about Ken Mills?
Son, let's car to have a little talk. Listen, I want to ask you a question. What do you see here? What do you see in all this?
I see the plant. The plant, of course.
Hell, you don't. You see the biggest, damn greatest automobile factory in the world, son. You see a dream come true. You gotta hold on to that dream. You gotta run this plant or it'll run you.
Well, what do we do about Ken?
Well, buy it.
Buy it?
Yeah, buy 'em lock, stock, and damn barrel. We'll close 'em up, ship those presses to us. We can use them. And do it before lunch. Damn it all, Harry. Just trying to make a man of a boy.
We've been with you from the start, Henry.
And we believed in you, too.
Yeah, you believe in cash on the barrelhead. C period, O period, D period. I remember that all right.
Be fair, Henry. We invested in you when nobody else would.
That's not why we're here anyway. Henry, we're damn curious about this new plant you're building here.
Yeah, on 2,000 acres.
Yeah, well, you fellas know how I feel about building the perfect tractor for the American farmer. Well, this here's the site. Bought it all with my own money. Nothing to do with the Ford Motor Company either.
Henry, can we have your word on that?
Tell us you're not building a steel mill out here.
Oh, maybe a small one.
Ford, it would take 1 million vehicles to justify a capital expenditure like that.
Is that right? If you say so, you know I got no mind for figures.
Come on, don't play the bumpkin with us, Ford. You're spending our money.
Your money. I earned you $2 million in dividends while you sat on your tall, skinny butts.
You're building a new plant for your car.
Using tens of millions of our dividends.
More! More, boys. Just picture. Boats coming up the river with ore. My own blast furnaces. Biggest assembly line in the minds of men. Boats taking my cars all around the world. Millions of them. And getting cheaper every year. What do you think of that, Dodge brothers?
I think you lost your mind.
I say we sue.
Greed. You think I don't know what you're fixing to do? You're fixing to take all the money I earned for you and starting your own motor company. Building cheap cars to compete with me, right?
And what if we are, Henry? It's our money.
Now, well, I got it, it ain't. And I'll die in hell before I give you one more red cent. You forget about those dividends. Forget about the dividends, but remember one thing. It's my money. And it's my car. Come on, Harry.
We can't let him get away with this.
We'll stop him in court.
So I heard today that the fellows at Yale are organizing their own regiment.
Get that seated there straight first. Now, put her on.
They're all going down to Brooks Brothers, New York. Get their uniforms tailor-made.
Watch what you're doing.
Carter Harrington said I could join, even though I wasn't a Yale man, because I know so many of the boys.
Here you are. You can put a few of these in. Go ahead, son. You know you got a pretty good way with tools. I reckon you could probably make it as a mechanic in a lot of parts of the world, as long as you're working on Ford cars. Do you figure old Carter could do that, huh?
I know how you feel about the war, Dad.
You do. You sure do carry on a lot about it.
But I do think Wilson is right. And now that we're in. So, I've decided.
Set 5/8. You've decided, have you?
Yes, sir.
What have you decided?
I've decided to enlist.
Yeah. You've given that a lot of thought, have you?
Yes, sir, I have.
Thought about what that means to me? Have my only son go to war? Huh? You're all I have left, son. All I have left.
I know that. Be careful.
Be careful. Be careful in a war, Sonny. Can't be careful in a war. What's going to happen if you get killed? Huh? What's going to happen to the company? Who's going to take over? How are you going to keep the cars going? How are you going to keep the Ford name going? You thought about that? Huh? Yes, sir. So, you're going to enlist, huh? Well, we'll see. We'll see. And as the vice president of the Ford Motor Company, I think you can appreciate why Edsel is pretty indispensable to us. Of course, that's just my opinion. The rest is up to you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Now, if no one on the board has any questions, all those in favor of Edsel Ford's deferment, say aye.
Aye.
Deferment granted. Meeting dismissed.
Let's go, son. Hello, Jay Jackson drove me up to the White House, and next thing you know, I was talking to the president. He gave me the commendation. He said Ford has the highest production number of any of the defense contractors. And I thought, well, I ought to bring it down here. You guys do all the work.
Oh.
You keep it.
Thank you, Henry.
Okay, Spider, listen, you deserve it. We're going to beat the Hun and the Kaiser and all the rest of them the way we're going there.
Boys will appreciate it, Henry.
Mr. Ford.
Ray?
Just about ready, Ray.
Who is that fella?
Well, that's Ray Dallinger.
Yeah. Is he, pretty dependable?
Oh, he's one of our best. Works like a bear, Henry.
Is that Dallinger, married?
No, I don't think so.
Tell him I want to see him.
Sure, right away, Henry.
Evangeline, I want to do the right thing by you. I want you to be happy. And I was thinking about what you're talking about the other night. So I want to give you this.
Is this what I think it is?
Yeah. That's an engagement ring. It's a real dazzler, too, isn't it?
Oh, God, it's beautiful. Yes! Yes!
Well, I'm not doing the proposing.
Henry, don't joke with me.
No, it's Ray Dollinger down at the plant.
Ray Dollinger?
Yeah.
Marry him.
Yeah.
I don't love him. I don't even know him.
You don't have to love him, honey, but you'll get to know him. He's a nice fella.
I don't want to marry Ray.
Oh, but don't you see, sweetheart, this is what you were asking for. This way you have the respectability of a man's name. You won't have any gossip, and it's what you want.
What I want is you.
You'll have me, sweetheart, but you'll have Ray's name.
He's a worker. He's a nobody.
It's all right. We can change all that. So, is it all right if I say yes?
No. No! I won't do it. I'm not one of your cars. I'm a person, and I got feelings. I'm not something you could just push down an assembly line. And if you think I'm going to marry Ray Dollinger, you're crazy.
Well, you're crazy if you think you got some kind of hold on me. And don't press your luck, honey, or you might find yourself out so fast your head will be swimming.
I already am out. And you can go to hell.
Not on this world, Missy, and it's a long walk home.
I'll walk.
Good.
I'm not going to change my mind.
See you 2 weeks from Saturday. You won't be sorry.
Miss Cote?
Who are you?
I'm Mrs. Ford. Mrs. Henry Ford.
What do you want?
I've come to talk to you about your affair with my husband.
There is no affair. I'm going to marry Ray Dollinger. That is the plan? I don't even know him. But it's real funny who did the proposing.
I'm sorry.